Slow fat loss might be where you're going wrong, and this training is all about how to lose body fat fast for anyone who's a wee bit impatient, I should say. Quick disclaimer though, this isn't for everyone, but I do think everyone has been told that most fat loss must have balance, it must be sustainable, and in reality, there's a lot of people out there that are very capable of doing a lot more in a shorter time frame and suffering for a less amount of time. How to know if the fast route is for you? If you're someone who gets bored easily by seeing only £1 change in the scale, not really seeing much shape differences each week, if you're someone that messes up frequently, if you're someone that gets motivated when you see multiple pounds drop off or you see clothes fit better, you feel less bloated and leaner, if you get that motivation early on, then fast fat loss might be for you. But let me be clear, slow is optimal for probably most people. You do not have to do it fast. It is less extreme. It is less sacrifice, and you'll probably walk around with higher amounts of energy. But at the same time, there's a lot of people that would get just depressed at the fact that they've only lost 5 pounds in 6 weeks. So much so that they would become demotivated and just stop altogether. And a lot of people force people into this slow, sustainable method when they'd be much better getting tons of quick wins straight out the gates and getting quite motivated. Fast fat loss for me let me fuck things up a lot more. For example, I used to have a small deficit of 400 to 500 calories, and at the weekend I'd be 2,000 calories over maintenance on Saturday and on Sunday, and I just ruined my whole week's work inside 2 days. However, if I had lost like £2 from Monday to Friday, if I put a pound on over the weekend, it didn't really make much of a difference because I'm still a pound down overall, and I'm still enjoying my weekends at the same time. But it means I'm not dieting forever. I would rather have 7 hard weeks over 4 sustainable months anytime. For some people though, this just isn't right, and it's the other way around. You'll know yourself. I find sticking to 2,000 calories and 1,500 calories the exact same level of difficulty. For me, it's restriction either way. So I may as well go a bit lower, experience a bit more hunger, and just get it done quicker so I don't have to worry about it. But fat loss should be like robbing a bank. Get in, get out, and do not go back to the bank. All forms of fat loss are unsustainable. At the end of the day, fat loss is controlled starvation. You are starving yourself in a controlled manner to get rid of body fat. You are not meant to live in a diet forever. We're going to do some things here that are a bit questionable, but it's not because they're bad foods or it's the right way to do it. It's just serving the purpose of the goal in this meantime. That made no sense. But you can diet for 7 weeks or you can diet for 17 weeks. Both will work. It just depends on the person. If you are going to go down the fast route, there's a couple of rules. We have to accept that it's going to be brutal. A bit shit, but the important thing to remember is it's not forever. You should expect hunger. And in this approach, we are going to cut out some foods. Not because these foods are bad or they cause weight gain, but they're just not productive to getting this particular goal. For example, chocolate, fast foods. Are they the devil? No. Will they make you fat in isolation? No. However, they're not the most filling foods in the world, and for most people, when they consume ultra processed foods, they actually go back to consume more and more. So cutting them out for a short period of time help you meet your calorie goals a lot easier, help you stick to things because you're not as hungry, you're getting good nutrients from the other foods, and it makes life that wee bit easier. Rule 3, do not go nuts after. Have a plan. Increase your food over 2 to 3 weeks until a max weight climb of 2 to 3 kg from what your original goal weight was. Do not go nuts after. Key. Another rule, which I fail to understand sometimes, accept that weekends might be a bit boring. So many people try and plug certain problems with tactics and solutions and 0 calorie mixers and things like that. And sometimes you just have to accept that, yeah, this is hunger and I am just going to have to sit with it. Or, yeah, my energy is a bit low right now, but I'm nearly finished this diet. Or the weekend is going to be a bit boring and I've had a long week at work, but at the same time, I'd also like to really take my top off on holiday this year. So which do I want, a fun weekend or the top off? And you make your decision. Sometimes it's just about accepting it, rolling over and letting it happen. So diet wise, here's the approach we are going to go for. High protein, 10 grams per 100 calories ideally. If you can get more, great. Majority of your carbs are going to come from veg rather than bread, rice and pasta. Bread, rice and pasta are probably some of the best inventions to ever be created or made on this earth. They are great, fantastic for training. They give you fantastic brain power. There's so many benefits to taking them. You do need carbs to survive. However, I don't find them very filling personally. If I had 300 calories in a bowl and that bowl was just made up of beef mince or turkey mince and veg, compared to 300 calories where it's split between rice and beef. I'm going to be so much more full having the extra meat. And so this diet is usually majority meat and veg based. Now, we aren't doing this because carbs are the devil. We're doing this because it helps you stick to a lot lower calorie range for a longer period of time, because you don't run into as much hunger. Now, with this approach, every 2-3 days, I will include some carb sources. I'll include some carbs with my breakfast or some carbs with my lunch, but I'm not having them 3 times a day, every single day. I can get away with that personally because I sit behind the laptop majority of the day, and so I don't need a ton of carbs to fuel my body. I do a ton of walking. The main fuel source my body uses when walking is fats, and so I can get away with a lower carb intake. So many people have higher calorie meals because they think that they need carbs at every given occasion, and in reality they could just do without, feel fuller and not run into any energy dips. Not the case for everyone, but this is the approach that I go with when I'm trying to lose body fat fast. High volume foods are a non-negotiable. You will certainly not survive this diet if you're eating breaded frozen chicken from Iceland. It is just not filling enough, it's not high in protein enough, and you will be a bit hungry after it. We want every single meal to fill us up to the max. And how we do that is choosing foods that are very low in calorie, but also very, very filling in terms of volume. So they take up a lot of space in the stomach. Things like cauliflower rice taste a bit like ass. Egg whites, they're actually quite decent. Konjac noodles, also a bit like ass. Frozen veg, decent. Watermelon, turkey mince, kind of tastes like dried ass. High volume foods are going to be your best friend here. But what if my maintenance calories are 2,200 and when I remove 1,000, then I'm having to eat 1,200 calories? Isn't that too low? Like, that's not even enough food for a child. First off, kids spend the day climbing, running, jumping, asking 65 questions a minute. But maybe you spend all day behind a laptop, seated, or maybe you're a bit less blessed in the height department like I am and you're below 5'4". Therefore, your calories, unfortunately, are going to be naturally lower. And second off, do what you want. You don't have to follow this. It doesn't have to be just as extreme as this, but the point of the video is to show you can do things a whole lot quicker than you are right now. In a diet, if I can get my steps to 10k, I'll have 1,500 calories. If I only manage 4 to 5k, then my calories will be closer to 1,300 because I'm not burning as much. Training and activity. You want to go for 15k steps per day, or at least double what you currently do, whichever is the lower of those two. We want 2 to 3 weight sessions. If we can do more, do more. But we want to maintain muscle and not look like a bag of water when all this is done. We want 3 cardio sessions, running, swimming, Stairmaster, etc. A minimum of 30 minutes every session. And you can include those on the same day you do weights or on a completely different day. And you might say, it seems like a lot. And yeah, it's brutal and it's unsustainable. But if you're the type of person that can sustain unsustainability for a short period of time, knowing that it won't be forever, then maybe this is a better approach than dieting for 4 straight months consistently without any fuck-ups. As I say, it's not the perfect approach for everyone, but for a lot of people, they're being done a disservice by forcing themselves to diet sustainably when they would have no side effects from going a lot harder and a lot more aggressive, and as a result finishing the diet a whole lot earlier.